Do you want to get out of debt faster? Well, Quicken can help you with that using its debt reduction tool and calculator. I'm going to show you how to use that here in a minute. I'm Joe DiSanto. I'm a fractional CFO to businesses and high-income individuals, and essentially the personal CFO of YouTube, well, at least as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so let's get into this debt reduction calculator video. All right, I have Quicken open here, and again, I'm in Quicken Classic for Windows, meaning Classic meaning the desktop version. You might be in Quicken Classic for Mac. They have a similar tool. I'll try to make a Mac video about it at some point. Or if you're a Quicken new web-based user, they probably have a similar tool as well. This may be relevant there. I haven't used that one yet, so we'll see. But anyway, I am in the planning section over here, and I'll point out, as I often do, Quicken has many ways to get to things, and it has different ways to show things. So if you had standard menus on here, you would see the planning tab up here on this bar. If you happen to have classic menus, which is a longer menu, under the planning section here, you could get to it as well, just FYI. And under planning, there's different things. There's the budget area. I got a video on that. There's the lifetime planner, which is a big retirement calculator. Tax center, which is for planning for your taxes. Going to have a video on that. Savings goal, video on that. But this is debt reduction, and it's basically a debt reduction calculator, but it's also like a debt reduction planner. So in this Quicken file, it's fictitious Quicken file here, I got a couple credit cards in terms of debt, and I have a mortgage, all right? And that'll make sense why I'm saying that in a sec. So if you start here and you don't have a debt reduction plan already in place, we're gonna hit Get Started. And basically what this tool does is it helps you decide, one, like how long it's gonna take you to pay off debt, and if you were to put more money towards that, how much quicker would you get out of debt? But also, if you have multiple debt accounts, credit cards or mortgages or whatever with different interest rates, which sequence do you pay those things off to have it be most efficient? So that's overall what we're using this calculator to determine. Now, if I get here to identify your debts, it picks up on stuff that I have. And you can see here it's got my 2 credit cards. But over here, it's got this other debt, the mortgage, and it's defaulted to not include that. It tells you why, because it basically says, hey, if you have credit card debt, you should pay off that first. But you could choose to include that in the pile if you wanted. You could hit include, or you could choose to remove certain things from the calculation if you wanted. I'm just going to go with the default here and let's see what it says about our 2 credit cards. So we go to the next screen, and it says, hey, okay, well, all right, I'm gonna give you the plan, but I want to know how much are the interest rates on these cards. So I just pumped these fake interest rates, but I made one bigger than the other. This one at 20%, this one at 10%. Now the minimum monthly payment, particularly for credit cards, Quicken will automatically put in here based on general credit card rules. So it's set these as the minimum payment you can make on these cards. But if for some reason it's wrong, you can change it. And then you go next, and it generates this calculator. So it's saying here in this layout that if you make your minimum payments, this is when you're going to pay off your debt, December 2031, which is quite a few years from now. But if you want to pay more per month, like let's say you pay $500 per month, and you're like, hey, I'm making my money, I want to focus on putting my savings for getting out of debt. What if I pay $500 a month? When will I get out of debt in that case? In this case, you'll be debt-free by July 2027. Obviously, a good plan. You can also say, hey, I'm going to get a bonus, at some point in December. Maybe I'll throw in an extra $1,000 from my bonus to really move this along. And when do I get out of debt, after that? Let's see, even quicker in April 2027. But let's take that out for now. Just leave that at zeros. But this is what we're going to put towards our debt to try to get out of it quicker. You can start the plan this month or next month. Let's just say next month. and hit next. And what it's going to do here now is you can see that it says, hey, for your upcoming payments, I want you to pay $435 to your Citi Advantage, which has a higher interest rate, and then make the minimum payment on your Thank You Preferred because it's got the lower interest rate. And then it creates a schedule of when you will pay the one off and when you will start to pay the other off. By the way, a little sidebar here. If you like my content and you want to get more into understanding personal finance, please check out my Personal Finance Mastery course. Not only does it teach you all about Quicken, of course, but it teaches you all about personal finance from a bird's eye view. And it just gets you in tune to what you need to know about personal finance quickly and effectively. Go to my website, DiSanto.com. There's also a link in the description below, and I will hopefully see you in the course. And down here, if you look at January 27th, it says, hey, we're still going to pay $500 a month, but you finished out your Citibank. You only had 181 left on that. Now you're switching to putting the remainder towards the other card, and then we're going to move the whole full payment over to the second card. So it creates a plan for you on which account to pay first and off first, and then when you'd be switching to the other cards. And if you had, put in that one-time $1,000 payment of your bonus, it would have factored that in as well. And then it has a what if calculator that you can bring up and look at what ifs of the scenario. You can also come up here and do some editing, but if you hit edit your plan, it's going to take you through the whole process again and basically have you overwrite your plan. Or you can hit explore other plan options, and that's where you can actually kind of do the more of the what if stuff. So if you want to start from scratch, hit edit your plan. If you want to kind of play with it and look at actually editing, not overwriting your plan, go to explore plan options. So that's the debt reduction planning tool. Very handy if you have a lot of credit cards and you want to figure out how quickly you can get out of debt, number one, and what's the best strategy for taking your available funds to pay it off and applying it. All right, thanks so much. I'll see you in the next video.